Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the Somali diaspora. I want to go over 5 things that I think the Somali diaspora could improve in. Now, if you're a member of the Somali diaspora, please listen to me before you get angry. We all know how important the Somali diaspora is. They bring in annually $1.4 billion in remittance alone. That is 25% of the Somali's GDP. That's more than Somalia receives in foreign aid and foreign direct investment combined. So their importance cannot be underestimated. That doesn't mean that it's perfect, and that doesn't mean that the Somali diaspora cannot do more. So in this video, I want to go over 5 things that Somali diaspora could do and should do to improve Somalia. Number 1. Export. Somalis are business people. Everywhere there are Somalis, there are Somali shops and Somali businesses. Now, you can go around the world and you can go to any Somali shop. You can walk in and you can ask them, what did you export from Somalia? Or what did you import from Somalia? And they will tell you, nothing. Everything that we are selling is made somewhere else. And I think that's a shame. And I think that is something that the Somali diaspora could improve in. I will give you an example. This is a simple toothbrush widely used in Somali communities. Now, when you go to the shops by Somali diaspora, they are not using toothbrush that is made in Somalia. It's made somewhere else. And I think that's a shame. I think that Somali diaspora could help Somalia export not only this toothbrush, but the clothing should also be exported from Somalia. You know, the fragrances, all these different things that we use in Somalia, and we use them outside of Somalia, we should export them from Somalia. And not only that, but we should export other things like fish and all these other things that we have. We should make it possible to be exported in all the African countries, for example, Middle East and Europe. Exporting from Somalia is very easy now. Somalia has free trade agreements with its neighbors and it's possible to export. Number 2. Investing in housing and land. Somalia is your country. When you come into Somalia, of course it's important that you have a place to live and place to be. However, I think that many of the diaspora members, they have this thing in their head. It's like they have to own land and housing. And there's a huge problem with this. Firstly, it's bad for the local economy and it's bad for the local people. And you can see that in the housing prices in our country. Our housing prices and land prices are some of the highest in Africa. How is that even possible? Have you ever asked yourself that? Why is it that a piece of land in a war-torn country costs hundreds of thousands of dollars? It shouldn't make any sense. What's happening is that the diaspora, there are over 2 million people living outside of Somalia, and they come in with money and then they buy houses and land. And many times they buy land and housing because they think that the prices will increase. So it's a form of investment to them. This speculation is driving inflation up. It's driving the prices up. And the local people cannot afford it. And what happens in Somalia is that the housing prices, they go up, 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 up. And then one fateful day they just crash. It has happened multiple times. And it will continue happening. On top of that, that's bad for the local people. It's also bad for the diaspora members because what happens is what always happens. Diaspora, they come into Somalia, they build a house and they buy a land and then they go out to wherever they came from. And then their family members move into that house. And in 10 to 15 years, that land and that house will be that family's. You are not benefiting anything from it. So if you're investing tens of thousands of dollars on something, maybe you should look into if you could invest something that will be beneficial to you, will be beneficial to the local people, and not just a form of speculation. Number 3, investing in service industry. Those diaspora members that invest in businesses, unfortunately, majority of them, they invest in service industry. Usually, you see service industries popping up in a developed country. Many of the diaspora members, they live in a developed world. In a sense, they live in America, they live in Europe. So they see what kind of businesses that work in those countries, and they are service industries. So then they come to Somalia, a developing nation, one of the poorest countries on earth, and they set up service businesses, coffee shops, restaurants, hotels. And the people who use those services are usually other diaspora members. Of course, it's beneficial to the economy, but it doesn't employ many people. That's one problem. Another problem is that in order for Somalia's economy to develop, what Somalia needs is factories and exports. As I said before, the businesses should be export-oriented and something that could employ the local people. Majority of our people are young. They need jobs and opportunity. And when the diaspora members, they start businesses, they do not often think about the local people. They just think about how can I make money in Somalia, and the easiest way is to make a hotel or a restaurant that other diaspora members go when they are on a vacation. So it would be more beneficial to set up industries and other alternative businesses. For example, in Somaliland, there is salt. Why don't the diaspora members set up a salt mining company and start selling salt? Do you understand? We need to move away from this individualistic thinking that, I'm just going to set up a corner shop and I'm just going to make money of the local people or from the diaspora, and then that's it. The diaspora need to unify, and they need to start thinking about industries and factories and other types of businesses that require more capital. Number 4, farming. As I said before, many of the diaspora members, they live in countries that are highly developed, in countries where farming is highly technical. Why don't the diaspora members come together and set up proper farms in Somalia? Then you could export that and even sell it inside of Somalia. Think about how quickly we could get rid of the situation where we have famines in our country. As a diaspora member, you have the opportunity to learn farming from people who have mastered it. And you can bring that technology, that knowledge, that know-how to Somalia. Finally, number 5 is standing up for Somalia and representing Somalia. And I think this is the biggest failure there is. Because there are some diaspora members who have been farming. Some of them have started industries and other things. We just need more of that. However, I don't see enough diaspora members standing up for Somalia. I will give you an example. Earlier this year, US and Europe, they started to boycott Somalia. They put sanctions on us. How many members of the diaspora even know that Somalia is under sanctions? And nobody stood up and demonstrated. Nobody showed that they actually care. Why weren't there demonstrations in London, in Germany, in America, in Minnesota? When foreign armies are committing war crimes on our soil, where is the demonstration? Every time something happens in Palestine, Somalis will be the first to stand up and the first to hold a demonstration and marches. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying that where is the demonstrations for Somalia? When Al-Shabaab bombs us and they kill 300 of our students, where are the demonstrations? When foreign armies are bombing our infrastructure, Where is the demonstration? If you, as a diaspora member, won't demonstrate for Somalia, if you won't show up and show people that you care, who else is going to care? If you live in Minnesota and you are a Somali and US put sanction in Somalia, if you won't demonstrate and say that US is wrong for putting sanctions on a country that is just getting up, who else is going to do it? So it's your responsibility to do. As a diaspora member, every time there is a situation where people are discussing matters of Africa, matters of Somalia, matters of international affairs, every single meeting, the diaspora should go and represent Somalia. The diaspora should be vocal for their country. And if the diaspora won't do it, no one else is going to do it. I hope this didn't offend anyone, and I hope you liked this video. Please subscribe, like, share, and I'll see you all on the next one.